Hey everyone, welcome back to the Teach Yourself podcast. Excited for today's episode. We have special guest Sanne van den Heuvel here. She's the founder and designer of Lófos Couture. So we're going to be asking her a little bit about that today and just a little bit more about her. But Sanne, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
So you're in the process right now of launching your new brand and going through all of that. You're in the Netherlands. So for anybody watching, it's 8 a.m. here, and I think about 4 p.m.
4
where
p.m.
Sauna's at.
Yeah. We
It
made it
took
work.
took some scheduling,
Yeah.
but we got it. So as we talked about, this podcast is kind of about reflecting on our past experiences, how they've gotten us to where we're at now. So Sana, tell me about yourself and what kind of pushed you to do what you're doing now.
Okay, well, yeah, let's start where I was born. I was born in Ude. It's like a small village in the south of the Netherlands. And I grew up in a family, two parents and a sister. And yeah, the thing that drives me mostly in my youth, I think, is my creativity. And I remember being in class, and each Wednesday we had like this creativity moment. Everyone could make something of clay, or we could do something technical, something with our hands. And these were the most favorite days of me, like being in school, doing something with my hands. And after school, I struggled with really making friends because one of the main things I was interested in connecting with people and having deeper conversations. But I think when you're kids, you're just interested in playing and doing things outside. So I was mainly in my room with myself, and I would draw and I would make little clothes for my Barbie dolls and things like that. So it really started there, yeah. And when I choose I don't know what's the school you go after like the your child phase, like when you're 12.
That would be middle school or junior high here.
Yeah, I think it's different, but yeah. So I went to middle school, and yeah, I also struggled there a little bit with just finding what I wanted to do, who I was, and yeah, the thing I did most was going inside and being with myself, being creative. I also chose I think it's university where you live, but like just you can choose your path after junior, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was doubting, like, do I choose fashion? Do I choose marketing? So I chose marketing because it was just something I believed there were most options in like growing for your career. And after like a year or two, I still struggled in school, and I dropped out. And I think that's where everything like personal development started, where I was free, like you had no school, no how do you say, like no responsibility. So I was doing like whatever I wanted, painting, yeah, all those stuff. And there it really, yeah, started to grow from there.
That's awesome. I think that's just a cool story to see where you are now, doing something as big as this and as important as it is to you. A question that came to my mind as you're talking, and I'm curious to know now, what does the word Iofos mean? Obviously, that's probably in your
Yeah.
native language, but what is that? What would that translate to in English?
So Iofos is actually Greek.
Okay.
And I came up with it because my boyfriend and I want to move to Greece. We're really intruded in the country, and whenever we travel there, we really feel like we're at home. So there's a lot of it to the story, but mostly because we feel at home there. So it's Greece, and it stands for Little Mountain. And actually, my last name Van den Heuvel means Little Mountain in Dutch. So
Okay.
it's kind of like owing to each other, yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. I like that. So tell me a little bit more about your brand. You explained it to me a little bit. So these
Yeah.
are, high couture dresses that you've handmade. You've put 200 plus hours into each dress.
Yeah.
Just tell me more about that.
Okay. So I think 2 years ago, I will start a little bit before I started this. 2 years ago, I was doing web design and mostly marketing, and I started like a little business in it. I was helping friends and family just I really liked being creative. I also like being technical, so doing things with the computer. And I was enjoying it, but it was still like very technical and not really doing something with your hands. It was more like the computer and on the screen all day. So one moment I have to think back where I think it was when I read this book. It was Think and Grow Rich. I don't know if you know the name. I was reading it. I got it from my boyfriend. He bought it and he just lent it to me. And there was like a little sentence in it, and it said like if you wanted to achieve something, if you wanted to do something, you had to be really specific about it. So you had to write down what you wanted to do, how you wanted to do, how it should look, which ways it should go. So I was writing about like, yeah, I really went inside and was thinking, yeah, what do I find important in life? What do I want to be? What do I want to do? So I was writing like a fashion, and I really like being creative, doing something with my hands. And while I was writing this, I discovered like that the connection between creativity and fashion was really important to me. And I don't know how, but my mind was just coming up with these ideas like it was given to me above, and I was just playing with it and going with the flow. So the name just like it went all so naturally. I almost can explain like it just went. I just went with the flow, and the name came up. Started to think about ideas for the dresses, and started thinking back to when I was younger. I would go to in summer vacations. My parents would bring me to. They would bring us with them on vacation, and my parents weren't really from like sitting at the pool and having a rest. They wanted to go hike, and we would wake up at 6, and we would wake up 6 in the morning. We would hike till 8 in the night, and but it was, when I look back, it was really awesome because we saw a lot of places that you usually wouldn't see if you would sit next to the pool, right? So we were really interested into the nature and being engaging in it, walking through like untouched nature. It really got me thinking like I feel that people have shifted from who we really are, because I believe we're part of nature, and we're I don't know if you ever seen that scheme, but it's like a circle, and you see all the natural elements in the circle, and then you have like a pyramid, and there's a human on top and like the animals down. And it's this scheme to say that, how do you say that? Over the past few years, people have become more egocentric, and we have set ourselves above nature instead of seeing us as a whole. So I felt like it was like I wanted to bring us back more to nature and connect with it more. That's where the ideas for the dresses started. So I started to inspire them on flowers. So we have 5 dresses, and each one is inspired on a flower. It has a meaning behind it, and that's how the collection started actually. And for making them, yeah, it's almost, I also came on this podcast because like a lot of people, they don't believe in their in the things they can do, in your potential, you know. And I feel like there has been some like natural movement in my life where I just believed in the potential that we all have, and it just created itself, and it just went with the flow. I was watching YouTube videos, and I didn't even have much experience with sewing, and now I have sewn 5 dresses like couture. Like, how is it even possible? It's really like, if you start to believe in your potential, I think everything is possible.
I think that's so true.
Yeah.
Going back to what you mentioned, that book, as you go through and you plan out that specific thing that you want to do and you get really detailed into it, exactly like you said, that happens, like it all just
Yeah.
starts to flow and all these ideas start to come, and it really feels like it's out of this world, that it's coming to you, just it's from above and just
Yeah.
flows through you. And so that's an amazing story to see, that it's coming through you now, and you're getting to express all of that through
Yeah.
your creativity and your dresses that you're creating. And I would imagine that since you've started on that journey and you've put all this work into these dresses, that it hasn't been a very easy experience, but I
Yeah.
imagine it's been very fulfilling. Tell me about that. What have been the ups and downs and the things that you've learned as you've been doing this?
For mostly the brands, or like the ups and downs in creating this brand, you mean?
Ups and downs creating this brand. If there's other aspects of it that you'd like to
Yeah.
bring in, go for it.
Okay. So I think the biggest thing I learned from this journey so far is that yes, it is important to set a target, to set a date from where you can work to, but it's also very healthy to not get set on these things and be okay if things take a little bit longer. So I was really struggling with time and being patient and being thankful for the now. When I created the brand, I had set a deadline for myself, and it was, if I look back, I think I'm insane because it was January. I said to myself in January, and I said to myself in June, everything will be done and I'm going to shoot. So I think in February I called a photographer and I typed in Google like a fashion photographer. I called her and I said, I have this and this idea. In June I want to shoot. Do you want to work with me? And she was okay. So we said, okay, we're working to June. I booked a model. Yeah, not yet. It was like I was an option, so I called them. I was like, I need a model for that date. They said, yeah, it's okay. We will give you an option. So that basically means that they will wait, but if it's like a week before the shoot, they will give you a definite go. And I also booked the hair and makeup woman for June, so everything was set for the shoot. But there was nothing like there was this just I had the corsets like the base of the dresses, and I had some fabric. I had some basic things going on, but like all the details, the flowers, the everything I hadn't even started. So it was really crazy to it was a really crazy decision, but I think it was also really good because I had something to work to and I worked really really hard. But unfortunately I didn't make it because it was just too it was not enough time. So there was also a problem with delivery of pearls and beads. So I had to postpone it because I couldn't finish the dresses. And we postponed it to September 16th. So that was 1 week ago, I think. Yeah. Or almost two, no, 1 week ago. And I made it work to finish all the 5 dresses in the months between June and September. Yeah, that was the biggest struggle. Like I had booked these people and it was the date and I wasn't finished. So that was a big lesson. Yeah.
How how did you stay positive in that time between, you had this date set, you weren't ready, had to postpone it a couple months. How did you stay positive and upbeat and be like, it's still gonna work, we're still gonna make this happen?
I think I was also being a bit naive because it was like 3 days before the shoot and I was like, no, the pearls will come and I will just finish it in 3 days. But that was not possible and yeah, they were not coming. So 3 days before the shoot I had to cancel it. So it was also tried to stay too positive and too naive, like it will work, I will do it, like believing too much in myself. It's okay to believe in your potential, but as I just said, like it's also important to realize that yeah, some things are just not possible in the time frame you are visioning yourself. And I don't know how you see it, but I feel like maybe God gives us an idea and we go for it and we roll with it, but maybe our minds are not meant to set dates and be like it has to be now, you know? I think what is happening in your hands because you can do something else and do whatever you want, but when the outcome will arrive, I think it's not always in our hands. It's more of
I
like
like
a
that.
given.
I like that thought that, we get to push as hard as we can and do as much as we
Yeah.
can, but we we just kind of put it all out there and we let things happen as they go. I think that's a great thought.
Yeah.
I love that. And so you said all of your dresses are based on some different flowers.
Yeah. Yeah.
What flowers did you pick and why?
Oh, that's interesting. So I will start with the first one. It's the Nardina Bodeni, I think it's called. It's a pinkish flower. It has little strands going all the way. They crawl up a bit, so it looks also like a pink bow, almost. And it actually has a special meaning because when my grandma was in her last days, before she passed away, you know, when people are almost passing away, when they're sick, they maybe saying some things you maybe, yeah, things they're a bit vague. You understand? And she every day she would ask my aunt like, are these flowers already blooming? Like, are these flowers already blooming? It was winter, and these flowers are one of the flowers that bloom in the winter. So they did bloom at one time. It was her favorite flower, so it has a special meaning to me, but it also just represents bow-like shapes. So the dress is also pink with a little bow-like shapes and a lot of fabric going all the ways. Yeah, that's one of the dresses. Let me think. The second one is a camellia, a white camellia. It's a flower, a white flower. It has a lot of layers to it. I have to check where it stands for, but I believe it was like, I'm not prepared for this question.
All good.
It stands for, can I check 1 second?
Yeah. Or even just what it means to you as well. You don't
Okay.
have to have like the perfect answer
Okay.
either.
Yeah, it was the words just connected to like what marriage means. Like, I don't know the exact words, but it was a couple. It was like to what marriage also means, and the dress is all white and it's almost like a wedding gown. So it stands for the flower, but also the wedding gown. Like, it stands for the things you would expect or want in a marriage. So that's the second one. The third one is lavender. It's a purple dress with a lot of bloom details. I think lavender is just, the smell is so calming. It's also good for sleep. I also like the shape, like these little dots that come off if you rub them. So that's most of it, like the calming power of the flower. The third one is a blue dress. I don't know the name I gave it in English, but I know the Dutch name is hortensia. It's like these blue flowers. It's more of like a ball with a lot of small flowers, but it creates one whole. It has a special meaning, but I can't remember now what it was. But it's also, again, one of the favorite flowers of my grandmother, and her whole yard would stand with them. So that's, yeah, it's also just a personal favorite. And the last one is a poppy flower. Do you know poppy flower? Yeah. They're very fragile. Like, if you pluck them, their leaves almost instant fell off. Like, they don't want to be plucked. So the dress is mini. So it has a short skirt and the fabric is see-through and very fragile. And the corset has a lot of dots. And this flower also, for me, stands for letting things be and not always want to be in control. Like, I want to pluck this flower. No, let it be. Let nature be. Like, they don't want to be plucked, you know? Yeah, so those are the five.
That's super cool. I think that that intricate detail that you're bringing in from each of those flowers into the dresses, that's a really cool idea and theme, and I'm excited to see what they look like as you let them out. And I can tell that from the different stories that you shared, like family is a big part of everything that you're doing. From pulling from your grandma, the experiences that you had when you were younger, and I guess why is that important to you and everything that you do?
I don't know if that's very true because I also believe like I have really felt like a black sheep. So I don't know if I also really felt like I was part of a big family, you know what I mean? So when you say this to me, I don't instantly feel like family has been drive and something that's super super important to me. but maybe is creating memories and surrounding yourself with loving and caring people. And I think my grandma was really caring and loving, and she was always there and always present. And I also think like the intention from my parents of bringing us to these special spots in nature is also loving intention. They wanted to share the world with us. They wanted to show us the world. So I think most of the things that drive me is things that are from love and from passion and from warmth. I don't find that in everyone I meet, so it's also not my whole family. I don't have a very strong connection with everyone, but I do with the ones that are very loving and kind and warm to me, and I can give it back. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. It's I mean it's so true that building those memories and those experiences with people, that's what really connects us to anything. I think that's awesome.
And can I ask you a question?
Yes,
So, is family very important for you?
family is very important for me. So I come from a rather large family. So with my parents, and there's 10 kids. So I'm the second oldest
Oh,
of 10
wow.
kids. So I have there's five boys and five girls. And so for me, family is important. But for the same reason, even though within my immediate family, even though it's a big family, we have that connection and that love and that kindness and doing things together. It's really strengthened us and brought us together. And I think, like you say, as you go and you do things, sometimes you can kind of feel like a black sheep, especially if you don't feel supported by the people that you care about and that care about
Yeah.
you. And so for me, fortunately, I've been able to have that support from them and to feel their love for me and the things that I've been doing. And that's been really encouraging because I know for a lot of people that they don't necessarily have that. And that can be super, super difficult to maintain, a positive mindset and a growth outlook. And so for me, family is super important.
And is everyone, do you have the same, like, a strong connection with everyone? I mean, family means for you like your parents and your siblings, right? Or does it
Yes.
mean, yeah. So, do you have close connections with everyone in your family?
Outside of my siblings or just
No,
within them?
just parents, siblings, like that group from like your home. Do you have the same connection with everyone? Because I always wonder, like, if people value, yeah,
Yeah. So obviously with some of my siblings, we have you know, more things in common, and so we have a little bit more of a connection. Like I'm a little bit, I'm more connected with like my older brother and one of my sisters, and we just connect on some more and different things. And I'll connect better with my mom in some instances than I do with my dad.
yeah.
And a lot of that for me comes from just my faith in religion, that, family is a big part of just our whole belief system. And so that just kind of pulls it out too in everything that we do. We center it around our family and building that connection.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Of course. I'm glad I could. Before we finish up here, because I don't want to keep you much longer, Sana, one of the questions that I always try to leave my guests with to kind of share with those that are listening is, if there was like one to two things that you could share with a younger version of yourself, whether that's 6 months ago to 6 years ago, whatever it may be, what would be those one or two things that you've learned now that you wish you would have known maybe at some other time?
I would have said that being different is not something bad, but it can be something really valuable if you discover like who you are and what your passions are and your values. You could shape yourself like how you want to be. And I think I used to think that being different and having different values and different interests is making you like boring or yeah, just different. And now I believe it's something that's almost like my superpower, like being me is what made me to where I am. So it's more something I could be grateful for. And the other thing I would say just God. Because I was never raised religious, and I'm also okay that that never happened, because right now I don't really stick to one religion, but I do believe in God. But I also believe like we all believe in the same God, and everyone interprets it in their own way, and it's really beautiful. But for me, I don't know if you read the book. I don't know how it's in English. I think it's like A Conversation with God, maybe.
Maybe I think I've heard of it, but I haven't read it.
Yeah, it's okay. But the book goes on about like God being one thing, and religious groups interpreting God in their own way. And reading that book led me to so many beautiful things, and has opened up my life so much. Like being I want to worship and I want to connect with. Like you can create your own perception of God, and it doesn't have to be like how they teach it in school or how they teach it in whatever religion. It's like you can create your own bonds, and it can be on your own, yeah, how you feel good, and it will bring you a lot of a lot of really beautiful assets in your life. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
think
it.
that's wonderful.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, thank you
thanks.
for those, and I hope everybody listening can take from that and learn and let it be a blessing in their life as well.
Yeah.
So, thank you for coming on here, Sana. Before I let you go, if for those that are listening that want to follow you and see the things that you're doing, where's the best place that they can do that?
I would say not my Instagram because I haven't posted any. So I would say the Instagram of my brand. So I would say Lófos Couture. It's right as Lofos and then Couture. So Couture. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for being here again. I've been really enjoyed getting to know you and for your insights. So, to everybody listening, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.